We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which this project is recorded, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We would also like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Please be advised that the following podcast contains horror themes and depictions of gore and violence. Gather round, goblins and ghouls, as we begin a new adventure, a new tale of mystery and malice, as we celebrate this Halloween with the spookiest thing of all, a D&D one-shot adventure. Welcome to the Down Under Dungeon podcast, Murder at Moroi Manor. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Down Under Dungeon podcast. You may remember me as Denis Gobert in our other session, but I am Oscar, and I am going to be your DM for today. Yeah, for this Halloween one-shot. Ooh, spooky.
I'm scared.
We have a couple of new faces at the table, so why don't we just go around and introduce yourself, starting off with the lovely Tyrie Aspinall.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tyrie Aspinall. You had it here first. And that's all I have to say.
We also have Sophie O'Connor.
Hello, good day. How are you? Thank you for having me. I'm Sophie, she, her pronouns, and I'm so excited to be playing with you all this evening.
Excellent. We also have, for the first time as a player, Emerson Cross.
You're all so screwed. I feel like Sirius Black. I'm done my movies. 12 years of it.
Listening to me go on in the other sessions going, just wait it out. We'll get it one day. And of course, joining us as always is Amber McClendon.
Howdy.
Excellent. And you won't be hearing much from him today, but good to acknowledge that he's here. It's Daniel, the producer. Hello.
That's enough of me.
Does a lot of work behind the scenes, and so we're very thankful to have him here.
Yeah.
Shall we just get started, gang?
Look, why not?
Why not?
Let's do it.
'Tis the season.
Yes.
Our story starts in a distant land, a land filled with fearsome creatures and great heroes. A world of drop-bear druids and bush poet bards. The magical land of Oddstralia. It's a clear afternoon over the Basilisk Strait, a narrow stretch of ocean inhabited by fearsome water snakes, where a spectral yacht summon is ferrying a party of unlikely and indeed, as of yet, unknown heroes to the southernmost and spookiest of states, Tasmajia.
Dun, dun, dun.
Aboard the Spirit of Tasmajia, we meet 5 shipmates standing awkwardly around a single bar table. There is not much on the Spirit of Tasmajia. It is a spectral barge summoned for the express purpose of getting you guys to Tasmajia. So, without further ado, I'd like you all to roll initiative.
Ooh, that's a good start.
Tyrie, how'd you go?
I rolled an 18,
Ooh.
which brings me down to a 17. My -1 initiative.
Ooh. All right, 17 for Tyrie. Amber, how'd you do?
I did pretty well. I got a 20.
Ooh.
19 on the dice plus 1.
Good stuff. Emerson, how'd you do?
Well, you know me, I always have to outdo Amber. I got a 19 on the dice and a +3 to my dex modifier.
Ooh, big
So,
scores.
22 for me.
And Sophie, what's your big roll?
Oh, a little bit disappointing on this one. I only rolled a 6. So 4 on the die plus 2.
Excellent. So, just clarifying the order. Emerson rolled highest, then it is Amber, then we have Tyrie, and then we have Sophie. Excellent. I would like you, in that order, to quickly just, Emerson, we'll start with you. Describe your character for us.
G'day. What time of day is it?
It's a clear afternoon over the Basilisk Strait.
Good afternoon, listeners. Once again, it is your premier true crime detective, Kacy Brimsnore here, named after potential journalistic heroes in the Australian media climate. We won't draw
Whoever they may be.
They will remain anonymous. Unlike all of the witnesses that I dragged through the mud in my True Crime podcast, I am the Premier Director of the Sus Files. I am a level 5 Inquisitive Rogue. I'm a Lightfoot Halfling. Kacy lives in a world where he follows the truth and, more importantly, follows the clout. Because if you don't have an online presence in today's age, you're practically dead anyway. So I feel like this is a spectral ship, yeah, Oscar?
Absolutely, yeah. It's all made of like purple glowing light.
Kacy is from the Tall Timbers commune, and he does not like the water. If it is see-through, he is seasick as hell at this moment. And I feel like that's part of his journey, and he's just speaking to himself in his little magical dictaphone and saying to himself, entry number 384, I have begun the epic journey south, and soon will reveal the secrets that I have for so long began to pull the threads at. However, I can feel my and it just vomits over the side of the spectral ship. And then just like you see a young halfling, very like long brown curls, but very green in the face. He looks like someone who doesn't go out very often, but look, he's for behind the microphone, so he doesn't really care too much about his appearance. And that is Kacy.
As Kacy is simultaneously podcasting and vomiting violently, Kacy thinks back to his last interaction with one Ratchet Moroi. It was a dull summer night in Hobarcane, the capital of Tasmajia. You're in a quiet scribing cinema. Moroi's here, alone for once. You've got everything you need to bury him for good. What do you think you say to the corporate lawyer in this moment?
To Moroi himself, I think Kacy obviously had his dictaphone placed on the chair next to him, and I think he just leans in to Moroi and says, you might think you've got everyone figured out, and you might think you've got this system under your little finger, but I've got you pegged, Moroi. I know your dirty little secret, and when I tell everyone, you're going down.
Is that so?
Oh, there was a follow-up? Sorry. Hey, I just... Can you just say that one more time for the microphone? Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
You've got me all figured out then, it seems.
Yeah, that's kind of my deal. That's kind of what I do. I come into these interviews and kind of pick you apart and basically trash talk you and character assassination.
Gotcha. Nowhere for me to go.
Yeah, but you know how it is.
Definitely going down.
Yeah.
We'll see how that plays out. And Moroi's going to walk out of the theatre, never to be seen by you again until potentially tonight. And with that, we're going to move to our second highest initiative roll. I believe that was Amber.
Yes, it was.
Excellent. Amber, could you please describe your character for us?
I would love to. You see sitting on a chair on the deck of the ship this wild puff of white hair. And under that, you see these huge green spectacles looking down at this knitting that is going wild. There is wool going everywhere. You see my character, Wistheria Hippet, more commonly known as Gam Gam. She is a mountain dwarf barbarian. And she is quite enjoying the fresh air, put simply, keeping an eye on everyone around, but not really paying them much attention, as she is deeply engrossed in this crazy mess of wool that is not really turning into anything.
Gam Gam. In this moment of crochet, knitting, what do you think? Knitting? Excellent. In this moment of knitting, Gam Gam, I think you think back to the morning that you received that letter from Ratchet Moroi where he promised to help you with what was going on. You think about the nights preceding, restless, filled with nightmares of monstrous beasts, of your bones splintering in the dark, blood dripping from your fingernails, a primal siren song echoing through the night. And in that moment, you flash back. Oh, you had a little senior moment there.
Oh dear.
As you come back to reality in this moment, a young orcish man looks over to you and just notices that maybe you weren't all here for a moment and just very kindly asks, sorry to interrupt you, man, but are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Apologies. I just wanted to make sure.
What, are you judging me because I look old?
No, I'm judging you because you look lost.
I am not lost. I'm fine. I'm just busy in my knitting and making sure I'm not sick, unlike that person over there.
Yeah, I'd seen him too. I was kind of trying to avoid him, if anything. My name's Marcus. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too, Marcus. My name is Wistheria Hippet, or you can call me Gam Gam.
All right. Well, it's really lovely to meet you, Wistheria. And he toddles off to the bar, which is empty as hell. It's a ghost ship. Next in the initiative order, I believe we have Tyrie. Tyrie, could you please describe your character to us?
Hi there. My name is Curtis Wagstaff. I am a cleric that belongs to the domain of the order, I mean. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I am very well versed in the law and various lawyerings, but I like to commit my time to writing about the facts. That's right, I'm a journalist, and I'm looking for the big scoop. Wherever there is unlawfulness, I will uproot it with the power of the written word. Curtis is a tall fella. What he lacks in charisma and aura, he makes up for in height. He is a strapping young lad, but he has about as much social, let's say, performance as a wet plank of wood.
Curtis, what do you think you're doing in this moment as you wait to arrive at Tasmajia?
In lieu of iPhones, we use, in this world...
Crystals.
Crystals, thank you! So I think Curtis is sort of hunched over the bar, nursing a drink of lemon lime bitters, and scrolling on his crystal, just looking at the daily slew of memes that are coming in.
I think as you're looking through your daily onslaught of memes, you remember back to your first interaction with Mr. Ratchet, Moroi. You had been tasked with writing a puff piece on Tasmanian industry and its benefactors, and you remember the look on his face as the conversation veered towards property law and his home in Dove Lake. He asks for the recording to stop, looks you dead in the eyes, and says, "Think you're pretty clever, huh?"
Well, I mean, yeah, I got a degree at, the Basilica of Statistics. I mean, that's pretty... I'm relatively smart, but you're avoiding the question, Mr. Moroi.
No, I'm not. The question isn't coming. This interview is over, and hey, I hope you've enjoyed your last day working in news. And he's gonna walk out of the room.
Okay, a bucket of sweat emerges from my forehead. I'm now as wet as a lake.
And in that moment, we're now going to cut across to our final party member, Sophie. Could you please describe your character for us?
Yes, so somewhere in the bar, somewhere probably seated on a lounge, there's a young half-elven lady perusing the selected pages of a newspaper that she has taken with her, pencil in hand, and practicing language conjugations in the margins. She is in the cutest little purple dress with the largest purple ruffles you ever did see in person. The embodiment of cuteness, of sweetness, and absolutely the perfect picture of no trouble at all. Emeral Sanjack is taking her voyage across the strait to try and hopefully make it to her final destination, keeping an eye on her present company, casually, but aware.
As you wait to arrive in that southern state of old, you remember your last conversation with Ratchet. A phone call where he offered you by far the most lucrative job in your art dealer career. You remember finding your way to Kalgoorlie and delving into the mines there to find a small statue that Moroi described to you, the same statue that is now concealed in your bag, and you hear it silently speak to you in your mind.
I sense the sea beneath me, Warlock. Release me at...
Sorry, I have something stuck in my throat. Release me at once, so that I may return to me home and bring about the new age of water.
I was going to offer you a lozenge, but I think you've perfectly recovered.
Oh, mortals, you give one of them arcane powers beyond belief and they expect you to just stick around while you wait to fulfill your end of the deal. Can you at least tell me where you're taking me?
I don't think that was stipulated in our contract. Seeing as one such as yourself with such age and such knowledge, you would think that you would have put in the clause for a time frame.
Oh, I've been trapped in a bloody mine for bloody centuries, bloody... Typical young people.
You ate that. You absolutely ate your own warlock. In 30 seconds, you put your patron in this place. That's hilarious.
And as we move away from that little flashback segment, I'd like you each to roll a perception check for me.
Not good, not terrible.
Kacy got an 8.
Emeral rolled a 16 on the die.
Curtis rolled a 7, which becomes a 10.
Gam Gam rolled a 16, which with a +4 becomes a dirty 20.
Ooh. Gam Gam, on a dirty 20, you notice that besides yourself and the nice orcish man next to you, there are only 3 other people on the spectral barge.
Does anyone have like a Barocca or like a Powerade or something? I've lost a lot of fluid in the last 23 minutes. It's not funny.
I have a lozenge.
I suppose it's better than nothing. Charmed, Kacy Brimsnore. Nice to meet you.
Emeral Sanjack.
Emerald Sanjack. I love what you're wearing, Queen. Look at the purple. On a summer's day like today.
She does a little curtsy, thank you.
I mean, honestly, I'm really into audio and media today, but I can appreciate someone who, likes to look good, especially today.
You guys see the tall orcish man notice that there are very few passengers on this boat and starts to make an introduction to all of you as he's gathered around. Hello everybody, my name's Marcus Larkey, I'm the captain of the Madelaide Ravens, I'm a FAFL player. I'm just here because, one of the player sponsors, Mr. Ratchet Moroi, invited me to a dinner and my manager told me that I had to come, so, yeah.
Plus the drug cover-up thing.
Yeah, well, there was that in the camp, lots of things sort of went down, so there's a good bit of PR for the club is always good.
Sorry, did somebody say something about a drug conspiracy, something over here?
No, and legally no one did.
Damn,
Well,
damn.
you know the loopholes because it's FAFL and, they do a lot of drugs there, so it's kind of like, do they fall under our jurisdiction or not?
Yeah, it's really a thing of sort of say don't tell kind of thing, we all know.
Yeah,
but,
it's one of the worst kept secrets. It's one of those.
It's a bunch of hot 20-year-olds running around. What do you think they're doing on their weekends? Anyway, I don't really want to get into that too much. Tonight's just about appeasing player sponsors. So, what brings you guys to Tasmajia?
I don't know, Kacy. What does bring us to Tasmajia?
And in that moment, I'm going to ask you to roll an insight check, Curtis.
Oh, that is a 17 plus 3 to a 20.
Ooh, a dirty 20.
20.
Kacy, sorry, I didn't remember what your character's name was.
I didn't roll shit.
Kacy, feel free to roll a deception check if you would like to conceal how you are feeling. But I would also encourage roll the deception check and we'll see. You can choose based on the roll how well you hide what's going on with you.
That is a 18.
Ooh. I'm going to say, with 2 very high rolls and a dirty 20 and an 18, I'm going to say that Curtis definitely gets something from Kacy, but probably not everything. What does Curtis see in the now gaunt face of Kacy Brimsnore?
Well, Kacy and Curtis have a somewhat of a history together. As Kacy likes to remind Curtis, the pen may be mightier than the sword, but the pod is mightier than the pen. And so there is a real, like, kind of a little tension between the two in the sense that he's very much old school media and Kacy's very much like new school media, but the two pretty much do similar things. So there is a mutual respect, and I think we are both each other's secret contacts on some level. But given the fact that we are both on a ship with not that many people around, and it does seem a little bit conspicuous, I think that the both of them are professional enough to give each other a look of knowledge and understanding, but perhaps things are just a little bit too coincidental for them to be chummy and let their guard down.
Interesting. Marcus Larkey, not having great perception or wisdom or intelligence or any mental acuity whatsoever, is going to not notice that whatsoever and turn to you, Emeral, and say, hello, Marcus Larkey. I didn't get your name, sorry, what was it?
Good afternoon, my name is Emeral Sanjack.
Oh, lovely to meet you. Emeral?
Emeral, yes.
Lovely to meet you, Emeral. What brings you to Tasmajia?
Oh, I'm on business for my employer.
Oh, who's your employer?
My employer is the curator of the Maiden of Time Antique Emporium.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Is that true?
It is, yes.
Never mind then. Sorry.
That was that.
Ignore me. Oh, cool. Well, it seems like you've got a really interesting job there.
Oh, yes, most certainly.
Well, I'll be sad to see you go when we part ways at the end of the trip.
Oh, nothing is meant to last forever, but things have a tendency to circle around.
Oh.
Can I make an insight check to see if Marcus is hitting on Emeral?
Absolutely.
Dirty 20.
On a dirty 20, you see that Marcus is largely uncomfortable with social situations, having very low stats in all of his mental acuity stats, and is purely just trying to introduce himself, and he is used to having, like, a media team to help him with that. And he's going to look around to the three people that he has only introduced to himself now and say, oh, and everyone, this is Wistheria, I believe? Gam Gam, she introduced herself. Wistheria. I'm really sorry. This is Wistheria, everyone. Wistheria. This is Kacy, Curtis, and Emeral.
Emerald?
Basically, yes, my name.
Okay, perfect. You look like you could use a hat.
And she pulls out this massive, like, ball of wool that is just a mess and kind of, like, pushes it. It doesn't look like a hat, and she stands up on her tiptoes and sits it on Emerald's head.
Emeral kind of squats down and greatly, like, receives the gift and just, like, thank you so much. Does it go with my outfit?
Oh, of course, it looks stunning on you.
Casey's going up to it and, like, touching it and going like, ooh, synthetic fabric.
Ooh. Gam Gam, could you roll me an insight check?
Of course. That is a 17.
On a 17, you see that Marcus Larkey is a bit butthurt that he didn't get a hat. And you guys continue to chat as you make your way towards Tasmajia. You soon arrive in the coastal town of Heavenport, a quaint little province populated by celestials, nestled in behind the river's mouth and dockyards. You guys each exit the boat, and as the last of you heads off, it disappears into purple glimmery light, its summon being fulfilled and the spell ending. And you see a 6-foot radiant smile with big thick glasses, a mid-50s Asima named Dr. Bracken. And she says, "Hello, dearies. It's wonderful to see you all. My name's Dr. Sally Bracken, and forgive me for assumptions, but are you all attending Mr. Moroi's event tonight?"
I certainly am, and Emerald sort of, like, comes up just a little bit and gives a small wave, like, hi, yes, I am.
And Casey pushes past her and then, like, kind of stands up stoutly and says, who wants to know?
As I said 2 seconds ago, my name's Dr. Sally Bracken, and Mr. Moroi simply asked me to meet you at the docks and inform you that we have a charter bus heading towards the mansion. It's going to take about an hour and a half, so if you would like a lift, you're welcome to one.
Casey's eyes narrow.
You can roll an insight check.
Not yet.
Gam Gam, like, straightens up a bit, pushes past all the young folk with her walking stick.
Oh, so that means we don't have to walk then. Perfect.
No, that would take literally days. So we're going to be taking a little shuttle bus, all, well, I suppose 12 of us now with you 4 in addition, but we're just going to head off together in, 5 or so minutes if you need a moment to grab your luggage or whatever you need to do. We're getting ready to leave now, though, so make haste with it, yes?
Curtis, over the last couple of seconds, has been attempting to interject with the same kind of cool and calm that Kacy just did, and has failed in every instance. He's going, what? And it all ends with him just going, well, we'll just see about that. I mean, yeah, I'd like to go. That would be great. Thank you. Yes, please.
Dr. Bracken grabbing your hand, like, oh, very lovely to meet you too, dearie. Well, I suppose we'd all better get going then. The others are already on the bus, so grab your luggage and just chuck it in the boot when you can, and I'll tell the bus driver to get going. Oh, it's going to be such fun.
Curtis then leans over to Gam Gam and says, sorry, madam, would you like me to carry your bags for you?
That would be lovely, thank you.
And madam, would you like me to carry your bags for you?
No, that's so sweet. No, I'm all right. Thank you very much.
And then he looks to Kacy and says, Kacy, do you want me to carry you for you? You're pretty small, I guess I could...
Curtis, it's 2024.
Okay, fair enough. Look, that's fair enough.
I'm in my 50s and even I know that's not cool, man.
Hey,
okay.
You clicked at us. And I jump on the bus.
Oh, I'm sensing a lot of tension between those two.
Palms have begun sweating on Curtis.
I'd like Curtis and Gam Gam to both roll another insight check for me quickly.
Would love to.
I love that. Oh, you're looking at a nat 1 from Curtis.
You're looking at a 9 from Gam Gam.
Curtis, you think that you've done the right thing by offering to help this little old lady's bag. She definitely couldn't carry this stuff.
By law and order, I've done the right thing. And he just sort of looks up to the sun, like, with a bit of a smile.
And it's just sort of echoing.
Gam Gam, you notice that there does seem to be a little friction between Kacy and Curtis. And you know, Gam Gam, that where there is friction, there tends to be a little heat.
Oh.
Do you guys all get on the bus?
Capsaicin, specifically.
I don't know what that means.
The bus?
I jump on the bus, happily, with bags sort of strapped to my chest.
Sorry, no, not making a joke about strapping a bag to your chest and sitting on the bus.
Get your head out of the gutter.
Excellent, you guys all jump on the bus. The bus takes off from Heavensport and you follow it along the winding road as the bus rolls through the Tasmajia fruit fields, which soon transition into a dense forest. You guys are welcome to have an interaction with anybody on the bus you like. I'm going to run through the list of people who are here. Let's just go for it. There's Judge Joanna Goanna. There's Sheriff Ashna Rockjaw. There's the Applebottoms, Jean and Boots. There's Mumford Anderson. And then, of course, there is Dr. Bracken and Marcus Larkey, as you remember them. You guys are welcome to interact with any of them as you see fit. However, I will say you can only pick one of them, as they will suck you into a conversation for the entire journey.
Curtis loves the law. He respects the law. And as soon as he spots a sheriff, he decides he's going to talk law with him. And some order on the side. Hey there, sir. Good to meet you. Curtin. My name is Curtin. Curtin Wallwam. Nice to meet you.
Roll a deception check for me.
Okay. That is 16.
On a 16, Sheriff looks up to you and says, well, first of all, I'm a woman. Sexist of you. Second of all, hi, my name's Sheriff Ashna Rockjaw. I'm the Sheriff of Morweld. It's a nearby smithing settlement, and I got invited because, Mr. Moroi is a upstanding citizen in the local area, and I guess he just wants to show his support for the police force. What about you? What brings you to Moroi Manor?
Yes, yes, it's funny you should ask that. You see, I love Mr. Moroi.
Right.
I'm his lover. And we're in love. Moreweld. Lovely town. Love Moreweld. Yeah, Moreweld that ends well. That's what I always say. Oh, God.
So you know I'm going to make you roll another deception check, right?
Yes.
Sweet. And this one's going to be opposed.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, that's good. That is 7.
Was that it? No, that was it.
That was it? There was no additions?
With a 9 on the dice, Sheriff Moreweld, an experienced policewoman at this point, is going to look you up and down and go, "You're Mr. Moroi's lover."
In a plutonic way.
You're his platonic lover. And this is your first time visiting, or...?
I'm going to abstain from answering that question, if that's cool.
I thought that he ran to the law enforcement person and now can't answer any questions.
Right. Okay, I don't know why you feel the need to lie in this moment, but I'm off duty, man. I'm not going to arrest you. There's something shady going on here. Mr. Moroi's really rich. So, I'm not gonna book you for anything.
You're not...
Unless you're a murderer or something.
No, that'd be crazy. And just so we're clear, because you have to tell me because you are a cop, you're not going to tell my parents or anything about this, are you?
About...
me just lying. I mean, maybe not, maybe lying, maybe right now.
I'm not going to tell your parents about you.
Okay, thank you. Jeez, thank you so much.
How old are you?
I'm going to abstain from that one as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Crazy weather we're having, though, isn't it?
And as you guys begin to sort of ramble about the weather, and it is crazy to be fair. Damn, who would like to have a chat next? There's still Judge Joanna Goanna and her wife. There is Mumford Anderson, and there are the Applebottoms. You are also welcome to talk to the 2 NPCs that you have met already. What?
Just an Anderson and not an Andersons.
Anderson singular.
Yeah, Anderson singular.
Do you go up and approach Mumford?
Yes, I think Emeral does.
Oh, lovely to meet you. My name's Mumford. What's your name?
My name is Emeral Sanjack. It's lovely to meet you.
Emeral, lovely to meet you too. Well, as you can probably tell from my attire, I'm a preacher. I preach out of Dornceston, just preaching the light of soul and, the good nature of the sun. Yeah. What do you do with yourself?
I like to think it's like if we're on a bus, I think it's one of those crazy aisle conversations where Emerald's just like holding onto the seats either side of her and just trying to stand up while the bus is still moving. Her like little like reticule bag in hand, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm visiting the manor on behalf of my employer, and bumpy ride that we're having today."
Yeah. Well, eventually, if you want to get privacy, you do have to go off-road a little bit. Is your employer Mr. Moroi?
Yes, in a sense, he is one of my clients. And so I've been invited to the estate on behalf of a business transaction.
Right. He's going to roll a cheeky check here.
Do it.
He looks at you quizzically, eyes narrowing. Are you involved in his hobby then?
Can I roll an insight check as to which hobby?
Absolutely. Roll an inside check for this dude.
No, I was hoping for better. It's only a 3. Yes, I'm not sure which particular hobby that you're really inferring to. I believe like a man such as Mr. Moroi would have plenty of hobbies to facilitate the massive expanse of his mansion in the middle of nowhere. I'm certainly involved in his hobby of antique collecting.
Antique collecting. And that is with bunny ears, or are you literally an antique collector?
No, I am most certainly an antique collector.
Oh, okay then. Well, good for you. I really appreciate you coming with us today. It's always nice to see a new face, and well, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a bit of an old God's waiting room here in Tasmajia. So we're very happy to have such a youthful energy in the group today.
Oh yes, most certainly. The bureau never seems to get the weather right. Do you mind like sending out a call above to give us some sun? Improve the weather conditions.
And you guys are, again, continuing to talk about the weather for the rest of the way there. Our other two players, who would you like to talk to? You've still got Judge Joanna Goanna and her wife Amanda Gander. There's the two NPCs that you met at the start. There is also the Applebottoms, Jean and Boots.
I think ever since Kacy got off the ship, he's just had eyes locked on Dr. Bracken. I love all your other NPCs, but I think Kacy is actually hiding in the carry-on storage compartment at the front of the room.
Oh, yeah?
And is just peering down at Dr. Bracken holding out his dictaphone to just record her responses. And every now and then he'll just shoot her like a little like glancing probative question like, Doctor, huh?
Yes, I'm a practicing physician here in Heaven's Port.
Oh, so you're like a doctor, not like a pretend doctor.
No, like a proper doctor. Yes, very. I work for various people around the town, and Mr. Moroi himself, in fact.
You ever lost someone on the table?
On the table? I'm not a surgeon. I'm more of a sort of an entryway for the medical system. They come to me, and I sort of send them to the various specialists that they need. I'm a secretary. That's what GPs are.
Whoa.
That's why the service is always so shit.
Oh. I was gonna roast you, but the outcome's so much more bleak, and now I just don't have it in me.
Oh, a little peek behind the curtain. It's maybe more than you hope to see.
Yeah, so what? Do you look after Moroi's health, or...?
Yes, he comes in for a regular checkup every 6 months or so.
And how's the old ticker going on Moroi?
Oh, fit as a fiddle as far as I'm aware.
How old is that man now?
Oh, he must be... Well, I don't want to give anything away. He's private about these sort of things, and I'm a medical practitioner, shit as I am.
Right.
I would feel uncomfortable mentioning that, but he's getting up there. He's not a young man, certainly not as young as he once was.
Sure. And do you have a office with Mr. Moroi? Do you, attend his estate?
Oh, sometimes he comes into town. He's a man of much means, and between you and me, I don't think he likes to leave his home all too much, so for the most part, I'll end up going to him, and on occasion, he'll come to me.
Okay, Dr. Bracken, look, to be honest, I thought you were going to be way more interesting than this. Mr. Kacy is just going to, roll down the baggage claim.
I'm sorry, you're welcome to roll an insight check if you like.
I think he's fine he's got the information he wants to out of Dr. Bracken for now. I would like to, if I could get an insight check, I would like it on when he mentioned Dr. Moroi's age.
Sure.
That is a 17.
On a 17, you know that Dr. Bracken is not lying. Dr. Moroi is quite old, and she's not revealing things to you because she knows that is not what Moroi wants.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think when he's out of earshot of Dr. Bracken, Kacy is going to, in Thieves' Cant, into his own little dictaphone to say, recording number 386, find those medical records.
And Gam Gam, who would you like to talk to? The options are dwindling, but you can talk to the Applebottoms, or you can talk to Marcus Larkey, or Judge Joanna Goanna and her wife Amanda Gander.
Gam Gam will talk to Marcus. Seeing how hurt he was at not getting a hat, she's sort of toddled over to him and plopped herself down, has begun knitting, and looks over to him.
Why were you so upset that you didn't get a hat? I'm knitting you one now.
Marcus looks at you and says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get all butthurt about that. I was just, I introduced myself to you. I thought I was quite polite about it, and you seem to have a really adverse reaction to me and were really polite to the other stranger that you met. So I just thought, what's her deal? What is wrong with me? But I'm sorry, that's not really professional of me.
We all know this guy. We all know this guy.
Oh no, there was nothing wrong with you. You just thought I was lost and elderly, and I understand that I am, but you don't treat your elders like that, Marcus.
I'm really sorry. I was really just trying to help. I was worried that maybe you were having an episode.
I think as a doctor I would know when I'm having an episode.
Oh, you're a doctor.
Of sorts.
Right. What sort of doctoring do you do?
Well, I don't really do much doctoring anymore, but I was a natural practices doctor.
Natural practices?
Yes, back in the day.
Right.
Is your hearing okay? You seem to be repeating things back to me, and, well, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely fine. I just, I'm sorry. I feel like we have gotten off on the wrong foot, you and I just want to help.
She kind of pulls her glasses down to the end of her nose and looks over the brim of them, staring deeply at Marcus.
Yeah? Do you need something?
No. And she's like finishing up her knitting, and it's just a ball of wool, and then goes and places it on Marcus's head.
Oh, Marcus regards it and thank you.
There is your
Hey,
food.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Of course, dearie.
How was the trip over? And you guys begin sort of traveling for the rest of the way, talking just, about whatever comes up. A lovely chat between two new fast friends, hopefully.
Hopefully.
As clouds begin to gather overhead, until finally you arrive at the resplendent Moroi Manor, an isolated lake mansion deep in the Tasmanian highlands. Its Gothic architecture makes it look misplaced, like the house belongs in the centre of Brunswick rather than on a small inlet in Dove Lake. As the bus arrives, I'd like everyone to make a perception check.
All right.
And let me know if you roll high.
No, that's a no for Emeral with only a 3 on the die.
Curtis is looking at a 14.
Gam Gam is looking at a 15.
An 11 for Kacy.
Again, Gam Gam.
That's canon now.
Gam?
Guys, go see my Gam Gam ecologist.
I get that one. I understand. I get that.
Don't look at me!
Emerson has got one trigger, and it's clicking at all. Gam Gam, with a awareness that is eluding the younger members of the party, you notice that the bus has not taken you all the way. The bus has stopped maybe 100 meters away from the manor because there is a small land bridge that will take you to a little island-like settlement in the middle of the lake. The land bridge is, however, far too narrow for any sort of vehicular transport, and so there is a narrow boardwalk that you, the guests, have to cross in order to arrive at Moroi Manor. I'd now like each of you to roll a dexterity saving throw. Mm. Let me know if you beat a 14.
I'm going to go ahead and say Curtis doesn't beat a 14 by a wide margin.
Yeah, Gam Gam doesn't either.
Kacy does.
Emerald does also with a dirty 20.
Ooh, fabulous.
Classic.
Kacy and Emeral, you've got your wits about you. You know that with the storm gathering overhead, that speed is of the essence here. Unfortunately for Curtis and Gam Gam, you're a little more lackadaisical in your approach, admiring the beautiful views. You guys get absolutely drenched by the incoming storm, but also the wind as it laps up the waves and disturbs the surface of the lake. You guys rush towards the iron and wood double doors at the front of the manor, and as you burst through them with the other guests, you are greeted by a small pedestal placed precariously in the center of a checkered floor in the foyer. A small sign reads, "Please sign your name in the guest book." Do you guys go to sign your names in the guest book?
Could I roll?
You can't roll insight into a book.
I was going to say...
There's nothing to glean from this than what the sign says.
I'll just go with that then.
Right, signing in?
Yeah.
Alright, Curtis is signing in.
Gam Gam signs in.
Gam Gam signs in.
Kacy signs in under the name of his assistant, Peggy.
Ooh, interesting. Emeral?
Emerald will also sign in.
Excellent.
Signing in is Curtin Walwam.
Curtin Walwam and Peggy...
Kacy does a thing where he writes down Peggy's name and goes, "What's my assistant's last name?" And then just very awkwardly puts the pen back down.
Can I roll to see if I know Peggy's last name?
You can, and you know what? Have advantage, because I don't know anything about Peg.
I defer to you.
No. Everyone goes to sign in their name, and you're all shredding now drenched overcoats and stowing umbrellas in courtesy baskets near the entry. You're being very careful not to drip too much onto the fresh page and ink. I'd like everyone to quickly roll a perception check, and just let me know if you roll nice and high for me.
Gam Gam got a 23.
Ooh.
Curtis rolled a 17.
Emeral rolled a 16.
14 for Kacy.
Ooh. Gam Gam again with an incredible perception.
Her glasses are everything, guys. This is what makes her see good, perceive good, that's it.
Gam Gam, you notice before all the rest footsteps coming from up the stairs, echoing down to you. And you see Mr. Ratchet Moroi, a doddering, mustachioed 60-year-old man, is very slowly descending the stairs. Gam Gam, you can make an insight check into him right now. No one else.
That's a 17.
Gam Gam, you recognize that he's putting a bit of mayo in this sandwich. He's playing up his age a little bit as he sort of slowly shuffles down the stairs. And as everyone else begins to notice him, a small applause begins to give root to people going, "Yeah. Oh, it's Ratchet. Yeah, we love to see you, Ratchet." And Ratchet gets to the middle landing of the stairs and begins to address the crowd. "Welcome, mates, to my humble abode." Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughs along with him. "I trust you're going to enjoy your stay here. It's been so long since I've had a feast, and I figure, what's the point of owning a big house like this if I don't even have the neighbours over for a barbie every once in a while?" And he begins to mingle with the crowd, clapping hands and kissing cheeks, and soon loudly exclaims that, "I'm happy to give you all the grand tour later, but you first got to get changed out of them wet clothes. Come on, I'll show you all to your rooms, and you can get changed into your evening attire." He begins to lead you guys up the staircase. There's like a velvet carpet covering the stairs, and it stretches off into two separate balconies at the top of the stairs. To the left seems to be a private area for Mr. Moroi, and he leads you to the right, which is the guest bedrooms. The guest bedrooms are all identical rooms, one after the other, like a motel architecture. And he begins to sort of assign you guys rooms at random and says, "Don't worry, take your time. Dinner will be served in, I reckon maybe 15 minutes or so. So get dressed and come down when you're ready." Yes?
Okay.
Excellent. Good. How would each of you guys dress for an elegant dinner party at a billionaire's mansion?
The $1 million question.
Curtis, let's start with you.
Okay. Curtis, ever the professional, has once again failed to think ahead as to what he's going to wear. He looks at all of his auto domain outfit and realizes that's not going to work. So he hides whatever symbols he can. He wears his finest sort of regalia. It's actually just his year 12 formal suit. It still fits him just. And it has a tiny little fake flower on the pocket there. It's blue.
Marvelous. Gam Gam, what are you wearing?
Ooh, Gam Gam is wearing a stunning blue skirt, a little vest, and is adorned with her very colourful, very bright teal green silk scarf.
Well, marvelous. Gam Gam sounds like she's slaying. Kacy, what are you wearing to an elegant billionaire's dinner party?
Kacy wants to go and steal some of the help's clothes and dress up as one of the butlers.
Interesting. Kacy, I would love for you to roll me a perception check or an investigation check, since this is you trying to pull some bullshit.
You don't want me stealth? Excellent. 17.
Kacy, on a 17, you become acutely aware of the lack of help in this mansion. There does not seem to be any sign of any servants anywhere here.
Kacy is high intelligence and low wisdom, so I feel like even though that fact sticks out to him, he knows that he's gotten the best information on being on the inside anyway, so he's going to use his forgery kit to zhuzh up or rip apart and doll up his formal attire. So he looks like a butler, but he's just walking down.
A lone butler.
I have the tray, the silver tray.
Oh, perfect.
And my microphone is on underneath the cloche, so he's
Very, very
ready
nice.
to go.
What a word.
And Emeral, what do you think you're wearing to this elegant dinner party?
I think Emeral would have packed a change of clothes with her for such an engagement. So she changes out of her purple and frilly work uniform, and she changes into a velvet dark green dress with a lovely little mesh top component and these beautiful butterfly sleeves that just sort of are floating around her shoulders.
And before you guys all move down, I would like Gam Gam to make a history check for me.
Ooh. That was an 11 on the dice with a -1, so that's a 10.
Gam Gam, on a 10, which was exactly the DC, you remember the storm as you were coming in and think to yourself, you know what? I think I'll be right. It's about to be night and the moon's about to come out, but I think the storm should cover it, so we should be okay. And you guys all begin to make your way down to the banquet hall, which was just on the left of the foyer that you guys initially arrived in. As you guys enter, make me a perception check. Actually, no, don't make me a perception check. You all notice this. Mr. Moroi is already in the room. He's kind of staring off into middle distance, not looking out a window, but as if he were looking out a window. Anyone is welcome to make an insight check into him if you would like.
I don't want to make an insight check on him, but as an inquisitive rogue, I have an ability called Earful Deceit. Insight checks to determine whether someone is lying. I treat any roll lower than a 7 as an 8.
Mm-hmm.
So at any point in this, I will roll my dice and you will know what I want to be checked on if he is lying or not.
Sure, gotcha. Anybody want to check in with what's going on with Moroi now?
I'd like to do an inside check.
Absolutely. Roll.
Gam Gam would like to as well.
Yep, both roll an insight check into Ratchet.
So Curtis rolled a 12 on the die, which comes up to 15. As he sort of looks over to Moroi, tries to find someone to hide behind so he doesn't get recognized, and of course he picks Kacy, the halfling.
Also, that's so funny because I also am naturally stealthy as a halfling, which means I can hide behind people one size bigger than me.
And Gam Gam, what did you roll?
Gam Gam rolled a natural 20.
Wow.
Gam Gam, you've not had any interactions with Mr. Moroi before, but you can tell when someone is troubled, and Mr. Moroi looks troubled in this moment.
I think Gam Gam is going to toddle over to him and sort of put up her poking stick and jab him in the back a little bit.
Yes?
Are you okay, dearie? You looked lost.
Yeah, I'm fine. Who are you again?
Oh, my name is Wistheria, Hippet.
How do I know you again?
Oh, you don't know me, but I was invited because I need some help.
Oh,
Maybe you need help as well.
Right, you were invited because you need help.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ratchet.
Are you sure you're okay?
I'm Ratchet.
Is he saying rat shit?
I'm Ratchet.
Well, it's lovely to meet you, I guess. You keep repeating. Are you sure you're okay, dearie?
Yes, I'm very good. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Why are you looking at the wall then?
I like the view.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm Ratchet.
Can I get a lie check on him saying he's Ratchet?
Absolutely.
That is an 8 plus 7. 15.
Knowing about this ability, some rolls will be at 16 or above, and this was one of them. You don't get a beat. He seems to be telling the truth.
Does he just seem stupid?
He just
Like
seems.
he's been dumbfounded recently?
Hey, you could roll an insight check.
I just did!
He doesn't seem himself. He seems distracted, almost like kind of freaked out by something.
Okay, I attack. No.
And as you and all the rest of the guests begin to pile in and find a place around the table, the conversation naturally comes to a lull, and you all look towards Ratchet, expecting some sort of pre-dinner speech. The storm has fully kicked in at this point, with lightning flashing in the background, and Ratchet... apologies, I was somewhere else. Welcome, friends. I am so excited to have you all stay with me for this lovely feast. The cooks are working very hard to ensure a lovely meal for all of you. And he stops. And in that moment, you all notice a small trickle of blood dripping from his nose. His eyes go wide, and he just says, "Run." And I'd like you all to roll initiative.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Curtis rolled a 15 on the die, which comes down to 14.
Gam Gam rolled a 12, which with a +1 becomes a 13.
Kacy rolled a 7, which +3 is a 10.
Emeral rolled a 4 with a +2, which makes 6.
You all roll initiative. As the lights go out in the room, you all need to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Kacy screams like those girls on high school camp when they turn the lights.
Yeah. Let me know if you beat a 22.
Oh! No, I don't!
No.
No one beats a 22?
I did. No, I didn't. It's a complete lie.
I wish.
All right. No one avoiding the surprise condition in this moment as the lights going out shocks you. You all hear a snarl. And in the not 6 seconds, but in the round that elapses that we're not even going to do because none of you get a turn, the lights come back on. And Ratchet Moroi lies dead on the table, a massive gaping wound across his abdomen, his guts spilling out, and a horrified expression frozen on his face. We are still in initiative, unfortunately, but you guys all exit the surprised condition. Normally in D&D, a round lasts 6 seconds. This is not that. This is representing those initial moments of everyone becoming aware that a murder has taken place. As you know, that is the important time. So, we are going to start with Curtis. Curtis, you've just noticed that your host and, enemy of yours has been murdered brutally in the middle of his own home. What do you do?
Well, at first, my jaw drops in terror, and I feel sick because I'm seeing blood. But then I also kind of feel great because he's dead. But then ultimately I feel despair because I think to myself, I was going to say overruled, Your Honor, when I beat him. And then it quickly turns back to, he's dead. In this moment, I sort of look around and do a head count and want to make sure that there is 11 guests in the room.
There are 8 guests here, and the 4 of you makes for 12. Yeah, roll me a perception check to do a quick head count in this moment.
Okay. Haven't been rolling too hot, but here we go. Ooh, a 19 on the die.
Ooh.
Which is brought up to 22.
Well done, Curtis. On a 22, which is a very nice roll, you do a quick head count of everyone here and notice that there are only 11 guests currently in attendance in the room. I'm going to say that you do not have time to figure out which person is missing, but you know that there is someone not here.
Okay.
And with that, we're going to move on to Gam Gam's turn. Gam Gam, you've just witnessed a murder, probably not your first, won't be your last.
Was Gam Gam still standing next to Ratchet when it happened?
No, you had all taken your seats at this point, so...
Gam Gam just mutters to herself,
Oh dear, I guess this scarf is going to become number 40 for the funeral count. Oh no.
Is there any checks that Gam Gam would like to make on her turn?
I think she would begin to move closer to the body to inspect it, but not all the way up yet.
Absolutely. I'm going to say roll a investigation check, and as you get a moment to fully examine it, we can make a medicine check a little bit later.
Sure thing. That's a 14 for investigation.
14 investigation. You recognize from this distance that Moroi is certainly dead. This is not a case of has been downed in like the D&D sense. Moroi, dead as a doornail, has died very suddenly and very quickly.
Good to know.
Kacy.
Hey, Kacy knows there's a doctor in the room. So as soon as he's done his teenage girl scream and the lights come back on, he is just full on making a beeline for Dr. Bracken. And if he can't see her, he's just going to start yelling her name.
Roll a perception check.
I'm trying to figure out to roll something out there. I was like, I'm not taking perception because everyone takes perception, and now I literally took skill expert to get more proficiency, and I didn't pick perception. Fuck me! Well, right, Oscar, it's a fucking 10.
It was not a very high DC. You can't find Dr. Bracken.
I'm still calling out Dr. Bracken.
No one responds. Dr. Bracken does not seem to be in the room. And with that, we're going to move on to Emeral's turn. Emeral, is there any initial checks that you'd like to make? This is the first initial moment where everyone is noticing the body being there. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you'd like to check out?
I think as soon as the lights go dark, Emerald's first instinct is to put a hand onto her bag, just to feel from the outside if her little item is still in it. And if it is, I think then her head is immediately on a swivel towards Could you roll a check to see if like the dinner table is set? Like, have we all taken our seats at the dinner table?
Absolutely. You don't even need to roll for that one.
Okay.
It is set.
Like, have we begun eating? Has Moroi eaten something? Drank something?
I think Emeral wants to check the cutlery spread. Are there any knives or utensils missing?
On that, I am going to ask you to make a check, though. Roll an investigation, since we're rolling for something... Investigation or perception, whichever one you would rather.
Oh.
What'd you roll?
Disappointingly. That is with a +1, that is a total of 5.
Ooh. You don't see anything missing.
No, Emeral is too enchanted by the presence of a spork on the table.
Emeral, you notice a spork.
Is that the rare spork of...
Such a lovely cutlery piece.
The legends, they can't be. They're
That's
true.
That's a Ming Dynasty spork, yes?
And after Emerald's turn, the crowd goes into a panic. And that's where we're going to leave this session for today. We will begin with our second half of our Halloween one-shot with our next episode. Thank you guys all so much for playing with me today. I believe we have, unusually today, a selfish plug. Tyrie, are you going to take that for us?
Yes, I am. I'm paving the way with selfish plugs. I would just like to shout out a podcast called Tripod, a podcast about cinema's unofficial trilogies. That's 3 films which are not linked by the usual elements like characters or plot, but instead are linked by a director, a writer, an actor, or sometimes much, much less. Can you tell? I've done this script many, many times now. Yes, Tripod is a movie podcast for movie lovers or people who just like comedy because, yes, we do go on a lot of tangents. Which movie podcast doesn't? It's hosted by me and also my good friend Matt Kazakis, who is a story wizard. He studied writing and now he teaches it at the Victorian College of the Arts. It's a bit of a hoot, if I do say so myself. So you can follow us at tripod_show. You can reach out to us at mattandtyrie@gmail.com. That's mattandtyrie@gmail.com. And you can also follow us on Spotify, iTunes, the web. Yeah, you know where you get Spotify. You know where you get podcasts from.
Brilliant. Tripod. Check it out, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this one-shot. A special welcome to anyone new to the Down Under Dungeon podcast. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials at Down Under Dungeon Pod or from our link tree. Send us a tag in any of your fan art, especially of this one-shot, or email us at downunderdungeonpod@gmail.com. Also, please give us a 5-star rating on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
See you next week.
Bye!
Looking forward to it. Ah!